Good morning. It's 9 o'clock, and of course, this is Sunrise. I am Alero Edu.
Well, as you can see, she's looking very, very gorgeous this morning. I mean, you can see the spot of red is just, you know. Anyway, and because like she's surrounded by red this morning, as you can see on the neck and the arm, and then the legs too. Anyway, good morning. I'm Akine. Welcome to the show.
My partner is in that mood this morning.
What mood? I have no idea how a mood.
Have you had your cocoa?
Oh yes, I'm still having my cocoa this morning.
Jolly good, jolly good. I settled for cocoa. I settled for cocoa earlier. Yes, there's one big question.
By the way, just go get yours, okay?
One big question I would like to ask. Subsidy is gone.
Yeah.
But we're not feeling the effects of subsidy is gone. Where is the saving going? Or where are the savings going?
It's a very good question. Dear Mr. Wale, don't please answer the question. But what I know is that the state governments now get more money.
What are they doing with it?
That's a
We don't see any improvements in water. State governments can now generate electricity. Well, we know that a few of them are now posturing, you know, regarding power. Well, we haven't seen any results yet. Well, it's still early days, you know. I'm just saying, as my partner would say. I'm just saying, you know. But the water really irks me.
You know, what you just said now, the moment you started talking about, you said water first. In my mind, I started playing Fela's song. Water, lighty, food, housey.
Oh, okay.
Then the next thing you mentioned light, I said, oh God, she must be playing Fela in her head.
I don't even know that piece of music. But I know water not get any no get enemy. I know that one.
What thing you don't know? Yeah, go tell you. Man, I tell you. You go here. Water, lighty, food, house. And that was maybe in the 70s or 80s.
I mean, it's so real today.
I think that song is that Suffer head must go, Jeba head must come. That's maybe that. But you know, to the issue you mentioned, let us ask the state governments. What are they? They have more resources now. They have more resources now. See, it looks to me like we are playing to the gallery when we are always asking the federal government what's happening with our money. The state governments get resources too. Who is asking them questions?
No, we're beginning to ask them now.
Are we?
Yes, we are.
Okay, let me ask anyone living in Zamfara State now. When was the last time you asked your governor or the government of your state this? In Kebbi State right now, in Sokoto State. Don't forget that Sokoto State has, as at the last count, the highest number of people in multidimensional poverty. About 95%, according to NBS, the country's data, says that more than 95% of people living in Sokoto. So, and they get more resources now.
It is our own research, so no be lie.
Exactly my point. So, who is asking state governments questions?
Okay.
And if no one is asking you questions, you owe us a duty of accountability. It's one of the issues that, anyway, I'm done. So you get.
You know, when they say you beat Pekin, you say make you no cry. You don't give us water. We now decide to go and do our own water. You're giving us heavy bills again that we are doing borehole.
Yes.
And you're telling us that too many boreholes. Well, too many boreholes, yes, because you don't give us water.
You people should not be coming up with too many boreholes, because don't you know that you are weakening the soil?
True.
You are weakening the soil. You can't be just... So we have to bill you for weakening the soil.
But you have to give us water so that we don't damage the soil.
We allow you to make boreholes, so... We allow you to make the, are we not giving you?
If we're damaging it, why are you charging us? Just tell us not to do it. Full stop.
No.
We shouldn't.
You need to do it.
So that we can pay.
Because if we do it, you won't pay.
We will pay.
No, you won't pay me for your borehole. And that is internal generated
But
revenue.
if you give us the water, we will pay for it. The same way we're paying Band A. Band A that is causing all kinds of trouble in this country now.
The water you are talking about, let's start with that. Go and ask Lagos State if the Lagos State Water Corporation is still as active as it was in the early 2000s.
We all know that it isn't.
Okay, so...
Because areas that used to get water, a lot of them don't get water anymore.
So why should state governments make water for you when it is not going to be sustainable? I'm just saying. See, the issues you have raised, they are germane, but the elites, there's that thing they call elite consensus. We need to be asking the real questions, and we need to be involved in who comes into office. Quite a number of times we talk about, you know, the elites don't come out to vote, da, 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 da. Well, that's on them. So no one should be complaining that a policy is affecting your life because you didn't come out to vote. And you were not interested in who was going to become governor of your state.
Or local government chairman.
Or local government chairman, thank you very much. Yes. I am grateful that we can talk about the federal government and whatever the federal government is doing or not doing. Amazing, exceptional. But you live in a state in the federal government of Nigeria. The
Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The federal, thank you very much. Federal Republic of Nigeria. But we're always attacking the federal government. So the federal government doesn't have a direct, in my opinion, direct responsibility to people. Citizens, not residents.
Correct.
Citizens, they have responsibility to citizens, not residents. And you are a resident of Lagos, you are a resident of Kebbi, resident of Kaduna, resident of Zamfara, resident of Enugu.
So ask your state governments.
Yes.
You know, as you were talking, I was thinking, when I was growing up in Lagos, did I even know the meaning of the word borehole? Did I ever hear it?
You heard well.
I don't think so. Yes, there were wells.
And that one is like this. Oh, that's your own. Okay.
You're pulling your bucket out of the well.
Yes, yes.
I don't think there were any boreholes then because most areas had water. And
even on the streets. I remember
there were pumps.
Yes,
on
I remember.
Streets, and you could go with your buckets and fetch clean water.
My primary school, there was W.J. David.
Water that you could drink.
Exactly. Inside the First Baptist Church at the time.
Yes,
W.J. David Primary School. So I would walk all the way back and forth to my home and school. On the streets, you will always see pumps.
Exactly.
Oh gosh!
You can't do that now.
Oh, young people, you don't know what you're missing.
You'll be lucky if you caught only cholera. You'll be lucky.
I had no idea. I was never, in my opinion, I was never sick.
Yeah, I'm talking about now.
Now?
Try it now. Even the one coming out of the top, you can't even do this. Roadworthiness certificates have gone up by 85%.
Is it in the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
The 1 kilo, so...
Is it in the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
Subsidy is gone, petrol has gone up, food has gone up, everything has gone up, even to talk. Ayo, how now? How papa, how mama? They say it is now, how much? 16, 17 naira?
Up by 50%.
50%.
Only. Always put only at the end.
Why couldn't we have done it gradually?
You see this thing that you talk about... proof of whatever you call it?
Proof of roadworthiness.
Is that in Lagos alone or in the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
In Lagos State.
In Lagos
It's
State.
Gone up by 85%.
You know...
85!
I find something very interesting.
On the people who are already, what do they say?
I find something very interesting about Lagos, Alero. And that's the fact that Lagos is about the most expensive state to live.
But it is.
And it's the place that everybody is always rushing to.
And
remember, who was it that was talking with us the other day said, look, the Nigeria is growing by population is growing by 2%. Lagos is growing by 5%. So, then it must mean that people enjoy the high cost of living.
They enjoy the suffering.
No, but
the general belief is that if you want to make a living and you don't have a job per se, Lagos is the place to be.
So
you can be a beggar, you can be a pickpocket, you can be a thief.
But to the vehicle document that you talked about, the one of them that actually gets to me is the one that you just said that our producer was talking about. When police accosts you,
yes,
you have to submit some papers.
That is in the proof of ownership document.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't have the color of your car, the specific color. It just says...
That's the proof of ownership.
Custom, yes.
It just says custom. What does that mean? Is that custom of customs or just custom, like the one you want? Because if anyone is asking me...
Allow me to the rescue. If you ask me, now who I go ask?
If anyone is saying that I must provide the color that came, that came with the car, then they have something else coming. They have something else coming because, so if a vehicle comes into this country and the customs is asking me for the police is asking me to provide customs papers for it, then someone needs to be sacked at customs. If that's what they are doing, then someone needs to, because how did the vehicle get into Nigeria? Anyway.
And onto the road.
They say we have men.
Okay. Telecoms tariff hike. Understandably, we need to discuss that. 50% hike.
I don't need to discuss it. I just want to bring it down. Anyway, the next one is this whole brain drain wave. Been hearing about this for how many years now? For 40 years.
And then we're going to focus on Davies Farms.
This farm thing. Everybody to the...
David Ola.
And then lifestyle, fitness on a budget. Learn.
You don't have to break a bank to be fit.
Yeah, so affordable ways that you can stay active and stay fit is what we'll be looking at today.
And we shall close with the Artist of the Week segment, as is usual on Sunrise, and that would be a she.
A Mavrikos. I don't know if there's...
Well, that one is not likely to go into the dictionary, the English dictionary.
We'll be right back.
Yes, now let's get the show started. Telecom operators have been vocal about the mounting pressures that they face, citing rising operational costs, including energy, infrastructure, maintenance, and the devaluation of the naira, underlined in red 3 times. So, many are not surprised that the NCC, the Nigerian Communications Commission, have approved a 50% increase in Telecom's tariff. And many are also not surprised that that 50% increase has sparked a lot of discussion, to a point where NLC is threatening some action.
And NatComs as well.
That's where we're at now. But some are saying, couldn't we have done this thing gradually? Well, we have a panel this morning to discuss that. So we have Dr. Yele Okeremi, who is joining us via Zoom, and he is Chief Executive Officer of Precise Financial Systems Limited. And we expect Chief Deolu Ogumbanjo, the National President of the National Association of Telecom Subscribers, NatComs, to join us any minute from now. Good morning, Dr. Okeremi.
Morning, Alero, and it's not out of place to say Happy New Year to you.
That would be in order. Same to you. So, Doctor, this 50% increase, with all that is happening to Nigerians since middle of 2023, everything has gone up, salaries have not gone up, and one more pressure. You now have to pay more, 50% more than you have been paying to talk and to browse. Couldn't we have done this gradually?
Well, good morning once again. There are 2 ways to look at this. We can look at it from our current situation, and we also can look at it from what could have been. If you wanted to take a look at it from what could have been, then you have to start from the genesis. How did we get where we are? So, for instance, the telecoms players are saying, and rightly so, that their cost of doing business has significantly. Last year, I saw the accounts of MTN. They declared a significant amount of money as losses, and this was due significantly to FX losses. Energy costs are rising. In fact, labor costs are in a way rising, whichever way you want to look at it, because there are certain things that employers don't talk about. They talk about it in low tones. But if you work in my sector, which is the same sector that the telecoms work in, a lot of your smart hands are out of the country now, and you still need to keep them. So a lot of people are, in a way, paying foreign currency staff to produce local goods. So when you take a look at all this, the bottom line is that increased cost is upon the telecoms players. And it will be impossible, short of introducing the subsidy, to expect them to be able to continue to do business at the same prices that they are doing it. It's virtually impossible. But if you wanted to take a look at it from the standpoint of what could have been, perhaps the genesis of all these high spiraling costs are basically factor costs. And when I say factor costs, we have mentioned them, energy costs, and these are people that are significantly dealing with foreign exchange denominated inputs. So these two major factors have happened upon them. The rate of the dollar moved from 400 and something to today 1,500, but that's about 2.5x. So if you take a look at these cost factors, perhaps if these cost factors hadn't increased the way they increased upon all the players and upon all Nigerians, then we might be saying that, oh, the tariff increase by the telecoms might have also been graduated. But to the extent that the costs have increased significantly upon all of us, absolutely no way any business person would not increase.
So essentially, Dr. Kiremi, you think it's a good idea for the telcos to increase the tariffs now?
By 50%.
I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm saying it is imperative.
Okay. Because essentially, you are saying as a businessman, that's exactly what you would have done. Anyway.
Before you go, Chief, Doctor, my question was, I didn't say that they were not due for an increase, but 50% in one fell swoop on a people who are already struggling with dwindling disposable income?
Listen, Alero, I empathize even with myself because, you see, when I speak, this game also affects me directly, particularly in the sector that I work. But when I look at it from a realistic business standpoint, when we say 50% in one fell swoop, the bottom line is this is upon them. The options that are open to them are, like I said, continued subsidy. I don't know any businessman that will continue to subsidize the market. Invariably, what that will lead to is insolvency, which is equivalent to individual terms bankruptcy.
Okay. Okay. We've since been joined by Chief Deolu Ogunbanjo, who is the president of the National Association of Telecoms Subscribers, NATCOMS.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being with you.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
We're here again.
Again and again and again.
What is NATCOMS saying about this increase?
Are you with the NLC on this?
No, but I'll get there. NLC should understand that this is a business, it's an investment. And the approach, the knee-jerk approach of protest, no. The government is trying to woo investors into the country, and there you are with this protest. It may be scary for investors to come in. Beyond that is the fact that you have to also engage both government and the telcos. And that they haven't done before, all this protest moves. So for us, NCC should play it cool so that businesses can still flow in, foreign direct investments can still...
You mean NLC?
NLC should please...
Okay, so are you with the NCC then for this 50% increase?
Partly yes, partly no. NCC has increased with 50%. We are saying 10% will just be fine. We also do know that the banks are owing the telecoms industry through these USSD charges. They must have deducted it from us.
Oh, they do? Immediately?
Immediately.
I demonstrated it last week. It was immediate. 7 naira.
They do. They now keep that and they do not pay the telcos. It runs into billions. Indeed. Why should the banking industry now stifle the telecoms industry? That's wrong. Again, within themselves, Telecoms A will be owing Telecoms B. They don't pay themselves.
So interconnect fees.
Interconnect fees. Thank you very much, ma'am. So they do owe themselves, so they should pay themselves. If you now put all this together, this is funds coming into the telecom companies. Again, we are now saying, okay, if that is not enough, a 10% increase will not hurt much. Still hurting, but it's not going to hurt much. And again, if that is not enough, do IPOs. I know some of them have gone to the market already, to the stock market. Do IPOs, initial public offerings, go to, the capital market, stock exchange, raise funds. Nigeria will, they want to invest in telecoms. They will invest. So if all that is not enough, then go to stock market or you capitalize or do IPOs, and then you have funds to develop, to do good quality services, which we have been yearning for all these years. Yes.
But, Chief, let's stay with that quality of service.
Yes.
I have interviewed you a few times before.
Yes.
Even before this this platform.
Yes.
And the question remains consistently, in fact, you are a lot more vehement on this quality of service thing. Have you seen any improvement? Because it's just like, look, you guys have no choice. We are the only devil you know. There is no angel coming from anywhere. You're stuck with us. That's essentially it. You get out of the city or urban Nigeria, there are some networks that don't work. In fact, some networks don't work at all in some areas. To the extent that people now have to use dual SIM cards. They have dual SIM phones. Do they have to use dual SIM cards?
Or they carry 3 phones.
Or they carry 3 phones, 5 in some cases. So has the QoS made any, because one of the things we hear is, okay, with this increase, we'll be able to improve QoS.
We have been grappling with poor quality of service all these years. And yet, we still patronize them.
We didn't have a choice.
Precisely. Though you had a choice, you could port from one, there is mobile number portability, one operator to the other, but it's the same.
That's the point. So what's the point of porting?
I'm sorry, it's the same. So why do you want to port? Although, it depends on where you are. There are some underserved areas which, the presence of a particular operator may not be that dominant, so you could port. And sometimes, although thank God that government has done something, they've declared the base stations and all telecoms infrastructure as critical national assets. That's very good, meaning that at least it will be under surveillance by the security agencies. So with that, I do believe telecoms will now come up with a number of things to now improve quality of service. But to now task and overburden the subscriber to say 50% increase is what we are saying is a no-no.
Okay. Dr. Keremi, you heard Chief Ogubanjo talk about this, and he's proposing 10% instead of 50%, which I don't know. I think it has already been activated. What are your thoughts? We always say this thing, what goes up doesn't come down, even though occasionally we've seen that moved a bit. What are your thoughts?
Well, I heard Chief Ogubanjo, and like I said, I empathize with myself and the rest of Nigerians. But the honest truth of the matter is that I need to run the figures first, because I'm not just going to speak in the air. But if I run the figures, if it were possible, yes, it's a smart idea. However, one thing he said, and I chuckled when he said it, was, oh, the telecoms should go into the capital markets. But one thing that he didn't quite consider in saying that is that the capital market is an investor's marketplace. And investors are looking for where they would have growth, where they would create wealth. Now, if you are asking me to invest my money in a business that is dying, then you realize that I'm not likely to be inclined to doing so. Any attempt to try to constrain the telecoms from growing is a death knell. And let me say something here. I think it's not out of place for me to say this. Yes, it's okay for Nigeria or any other nation to have bodies like the NCC. It's absolutely good, which is supposed to regulate. However, my opinion of the regulations should be limited to 3 areas. One, making telecoms understand that issues of national security are paramount. So they should be regulated with a view to creating national security. And we talk about national security in so many ways to ensure that everything we are doing is secure. Secondly, issues of national development must be taken into consideration. Issues of national development suggesting that we can say to them that we expect them to do certain kind of installations in certain places that may be seen to be underdeveloped or disadvantaged. And then 3, to be consumer protection. Because consumer protection, because you realize that individuals are most likely to have less power over large institutions or corporations like the telcos. And so the NCC should protect their customers. But to my mind, issues of fixing prices, I don't see any reason why the telcos have to go to NCC if they have to increase prices. Because as far as I'm concerned, they are in business, and they have also done it in such a manner that, yes, it's an oligopolistic market, not necessarily perfect competition. But even the oligopolistic markets, if you go take a look at the market models for oligopoly, you realize that it is impossible for you to just fix prices anyhow. So essentially, once the competition is rife and the competition is healthy, to my mind, I think that there's absolutely no way we should even be talking about regulation of prices. I mean, are we regulating how much Coke is versus Pepsi? So those are the kind of things I say. However, in terms of whether the 10% or 50% or 300%, I need to look at the numbers. But I can tell you for free that from where I sit, the kind of business that I do, I have written clients in this country asking for 300% increase. And some of them have, I mean, look, it is what it is.
Well, Dr. Keremi, at the end of this whole conversation for us on this program right now is about consumer protection or consumer interests being preserved. FCCPC recently also put out a statement warning the telcos that you guys must improve telecom services. Well, warnings usually come with consequences. I'm not sure what the else is yet, but that's what that is coming out. Do you see that as something significant?
Yes, and that's why I said regulation from a customer or consumer protection standpoint, which says that if a fair pay deserves a commensurate service, that's important. And to the extent that you and I may not be able to take on the machinery of these huge corporations, we need somebody to protect us. So I totally agree that, yes, that's important. And indeed, if the telcos or whoever the players are found to be wanting, the consumers must be compensated. And indeed, I also think sanctions should be imposed on the early players.
Okay.
But I think that's a fair deal.
Okay.
But I'm talking about pricing. I'm not certain that price fixing should be the purview.
Okay. Well, that's a good. We'll probably come back to that one. Well, Dr. Chufukumbanjo, your FCCPC is saying that operators must clearly communicate the rationale for the tariff adjustments to consumers, ensuring they are fully informed about how these changes align with efforts to improve service delivery and infrastructure. Do you think that kind of communication has even gone out at all?
Quite honestly, that has been a situation over the years that has not been addressed. Quality of service. Yes, they seem to want to address it, but yet the reality is the services are, sometimes it will be so poor, sometimes it will improve, the poor will improve a bit, and then it will go back again. For instance, if you now want to do a POS transaction, or you want to now do some transfers, 6, 7 out of every 10 transfers may go through seamlessly. But the other 3 or 4, sometimes you will have to now wait for another 6, 7 hours before you are notified, before you are credited. I mean, that seeing the alert that you have been credited. Sometimes it's the following morning. It has caused a lot of problems within subscribers and POS operators.
But Chief,
yes.
Why is it that OP seems to go all the time? Because if you have noticed, most traders, most Uber drivers, they all use OP. And when you ask them why, they tell you, say, your credits immediately, even before you have stepped out of the car.
OP, PalmPay, MoneyPoint is because they are driven by phones. Just remove the first O. Yes, the rest 10 now forms your account number.
Okay.
So, because even whatever it is, within 5, 6 minutes maximum,
yes,
you will have a connection, and then the transaction will go through.
Are you saying it is not going through the telcos?
It does go through the telcos. It definitely goes through the telcos. But somehow, because it is phone-based, it goes through after the signal comes to the phone immediately.
So the problem then is between the telcos and the banks?
Precisely.
Okay.
Precisely.
All right. Doctor, telecom services are a critical component of the economy, and this hike will cascade into other sectors, thereby contributing to a general rise in prices. And this in a time where we are saying that we want to expand our economy. People are definitely going to use telco services more sparingly. They will only make calls when they absolutely have to. I'm not going to just wake up in the morning and call Ayo to say, Ayo, so how are you today? Mamanko? Papanko? I mean, all those kinds of calls are definitely going to be ruled out because people can't afford to make those calls anymore. So how is this going to affect the economy on the whole?
So let me say something from an economic standpoint. In economics, there's something we call a stable equilibrium and there's something we call an unstable equilibrium. The bottom line about, these technical jargons I've spoken just speaks to whether a distortion in prices will lead to a new equilibrium early enough or not. So a stable equilibrium says that, yes, when we say stable equilibrium, does not necessarily mean that prices will not change. Because equilibrium price is the price which demand and supply get to meet by the Adam Smith invisible hands. But we are saying that, when there's a price distortion, is the market dynamics going to lead to a new equilibrium price, or will it continue to spiral out of equilibrium? And I agree with you that there are certain things that are in the markets that a distortion in those prices would lead to an unstable equilibrium. But I do not think that telecoms is part of those factors that would lead to an unstable equilibrium. Let's take a look at this. If today foreign exchange prices have changed, and yes, inflation still is spiraling, but we will definitely get an equilibrium. If fuel prices have changed, and invariably, of course, prices increase, invariably we will get an equilibrium. I believe that, yes, the cost of telecoms increasing will affect a lot, particularly services. Many people's business depends on telecommunications. And I heard you when you asked about what happens in POS when transactions are done. And I heard what Chief said, but he spoke well, but I have some other things to say about it, but that's not the question you asked me. So let me not digress into that. So essentially, I'm saying, yes, while telecoms is an important factor of production, particularly in service-oriented economies, I will say that a hike in telecoms does not necessarily mean that we will not get back to equilibrium. This is not the first time that we've experienced increases in this kind of service. So I think that this is just one of that have happened, occasioned by what I call a recalibration of this economy. Because what has happened is completely a recalibration, and it's just very unfortunate that it's hitting all of us. Because what has happened is that, just like you said in the introduction of this particular segment, that when they took these decisions to deregulate the forex market and to remove the fuel subsidies, which are not necessarily bad decisions from an economic standpoint. However, the moment they did that, it was as if they turned on a switch to say that the cost upon Nigerians will increase astronomically. However, nobody was able to provide the capability or the roadmap to guarantee that the earnings of Nigerians would increase commensurately. Because after all, the fuel prices in Nigeria is not much higher than what some other countries are paying. But the reason why some of these countries do not complain about high prices is because they have the earning power. I think the real issues that we should address and unpack would not necessarily be this cost, but the earning power of Nigerians. What must we do? What must the leadership of this country do to guarantee that Nigerians are able to earn not only a living wage, but a livable wage?
All right. Well, Chief Ogunbanjo, what would be your, should I say, what would you expect from subscribers now? To just accept their fate? I mean, since you say that NLC's approach of a protest is not going to do the magic, and this is an investment, and to the question that I asked earlier, there hasn't been any significant communication from the telcos that this is going to happen. They're just going to begin to experience it. So what should the subscribers do now? Don't the telecom operators owe the subscriber the duty of communicating and justifying the increase, based on what the FCCPC said?
Excuse me. Thank you very much. Only yesterday we had engaged the Nigerian Communications Commission through a plea. We pleaded with them to please revert from 50% to 10%. We pleaded with them to do that. And hopefully they will hear the cry of subscribers. We'll give them up to Tuesday evening to, get back to us. And somehow, by the time you look at what FCCPC is saying, they have tacitly approved the 50%, so that when they now get these funds, they are now saying, after getting the funds, you must improve service quality. That 50% is too much. Though in business they say there is no excessive profit. If you buy something for 1 naira and you sell it for 1,000 naira, business says it's not excessive. But sometimes we consumers say some profits are exploitative. So a situation where you are now going to 50% increase, we think is exploitative. And that is why we are pleading with the NCC to please look at, if it's not, in the nation today, if it's not electricity ban tariff hike, it is a petrol hike. If it's not petrol hike, it is international passport hike, all sorts of hike. Now, in addition, we now have Telecoms tariff hike. Rest us a bit. Let us,
So in the event that the NCC doesn't heed this plea, what happens?
By Tuesday, if they don't get back to us, we have no other choice. And that is why we want to plead with NLC not to mess up the industry by protesting. We will seek legal redress in court as it's a civil matter, really.
Chief, are you saying that there was no consultation between the associations in that industry with the NCC before this decision was taken? This 50% decision?
There was. On January 9, that's about 3 weeks or so, or 2-3 weeks ago, NCC called stakeholders to Abuja. And we were all there. But that meeting, what happened at that meeting was that every stakeholder, submitted or laid down our positions that this is what we want. NCC also stated theirs, but no decision was reached. All stakeholders just, relayed their positions on the table. This is what we want. That is what, and NCC also said the same thing. Although before that, the Honorable Minister of the Communication and the General Economy had said that we will not approve the 100% increase of the telcos that the telcos demanded, but there's going to be an increase. So in the same vein, yes, a tariff hike is necessary, but not more than 10%. That's what we are saying. And look for other options to raise funds.
Doctor, many people have suggested that the telcos were making huge profits that maybe their profits have reduced, not that they're making losses. So there is no justification for a 50% increase in tariff.
Well, I mean, again, you know, you heard what Chief said, that the maxim is that there's no such thing as excessive profit. There's balance. However, again, whilst many people can say many things, I personally am constrained not to be able to speak by my own training without having all the facts on my. Like I said earlier, it would be nice. I would have liked to even do an analysis of the cost structure of the telcos. And then when I have done that, I will then be able to say without equivocation whether a 1% or even a reduction is what is fair, so to speak, or perhaps it could be 300%. But one thing I do know is that it's impossible for you to flog a child and ask the child not to cry. In basic economics, and in fact, it's a principle of life. It's cause and effect. Whatever we do has consequences. So if the markets have increased the cost of production, like I said earlier, it's either you are expecting the telecoms to subsidize. And when I say subsidy now, subsidy could be explicit, it could be implicit. Just like you said, explicit subsidy means that they will be absorbing losses, while implicit losses means that there's an opportunity cost, which we are talking about. Maybe they have a lot of reserves already that they could have taken out of those reserves. But whichever way you look at it, there's a subsidy involved. So it's either they want to continue to subsidize or they have to hike prices. This is just the bottom line of the game. Nobody can deny that their costs, and perhaps significantly too. Because one of the things I see is that everywhere you see telecoms, you have masts and all sorts of towers and base stations all over the place. They must be powered. And if these towers and communication stations happen to be in places where there are electricity tariff band A, take a look at the percentage of the cost increase. And even if they are not in electricity tariff band A, it then suggests that the electricity supply from the national grid will be very few hours, which then implies that they have to power with fossil fuel. And of course, you also know that the removal of subsidy, of course, the diesel subsidy has been removed ages. So you realize that their costs have increased significantly. And all the equipment that they are using, whatever the equipment they are talking about, is it Siemens, is it Huawei, is it Cisco, whatever it is, they are importing. And the cost has increased significantly from 400 and some to 1,500. It's impossible for us to say that we shouldn't react.
Okay. Chief, we've run completely out of time. So your last word on this matter.
Well, we want to appeal to the NCC again to please reduce the 50% tariff hike to 10% and encourage the telcos to look into the market for more funds. Let NCC also champion consult with the CBN to ensure that the banks also pay them. And then within themselves, let them pay themselves so that we'll all enjoy a good service delivery.
Okay, thank you very much. Chief Deolu Ogunbanjo, National President, National Association of Telecom Subscribers, NATCOM, who was with us in the studio in Lagos. And we also had Dr. Yele Okeremi, Chief Executive Officer of Precise Financial Systems Limited, who joined us virtually. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
For coming to share your thoughts on this matter with us this morning.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Sunrise will return in just a moment with another interesting conversation. Do stay with us.
Have you confirmed whether or not it's true that the word japa is now in the Oxford English Dictionary. I will wait for your answer. But while I'm waiting, Fanimerous is a word in the English dictionary.
Fanimorous.
Fanimerous. It's an extraction from southwest Nigeria. Fanimora.
Oh, Fanimora.
And here, Japa is now in the English dictionary. I've not checked, just so you know. But we want to have a Fanimerous conversation this afternoon, this morning. And though not very, very exciting, because I've been hearing about brain drain since the 80s, since I was in primary, secondary school. They didn't call it Japa then. They called it brain drain. And in fact, it informed public service announcement on television at the time, popularly called Andrew.
Andrew.
It was also in a song by Veno Mariokai titled Nigeria Go Survive, says, Andrew, no check out though. Because that checking out was the brain drain. It would seem like we have a resurgence of that of late. So let's have conversations around it, because there's an assumption that a new generation stepping out into the job market will bring with them fresh ideas and new energy, paving the way forward for their country's future. Is that the case? Today, this brain drain is emerging as a major concern for the future of Nigeria, where talented and capable professionals, doctors, engineers, and more are leaving the country. I remember we were having a conversation with a former Minister of Labor, Chief Ngige, and he was saying, quote me, we have enough doctors in Nigeria. I think it was about 5 years ago. Do we? Now? Recently, chief medical directors of hospitals came out and said, in 2 years, if we continue at this trend, there will be no more, we won't have medical practitioners in the hospitals anymore. And the same thing is happening in the education sector. Same thing is happening in virtually every space of life. And it will seem like HR professionals and practitioners are not sleeping easy. Let's have conversations this morning. Professor Abiola Awoshika-Fakwetu joins us this morning. She is the rector and founding CEO of Olawoye Awoshika School of Innovative Studies, Oasis. Thank you so much for joining us, madam.
Thank you for having me.
Also joining us here is Dr. Funke Medu, who is an HR development practitioner. Thank you for joining us. As well as Mr. Biodun Showe, who is a social commentator. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start with you, Prof. Should we say this is the return of Andrew?
Absolutely, and a little bit more.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because when Andrew was going, Andrew was being pushed. It was not being pulled.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
But now this Japa syndrome, there's also a pull. So when you say Nigeria is not conducive for me anymore, I need to go abroad, and you apply. You might get it, you might not get it. You might get a visa, you might get a, whatever. But now, because the boomers, and about my age now, retiring. So the baby boomers are retiring over there. That's the pull. So they're gonna need a lot of...
So the job market is bulkier now.
Exactly. And when they retire, they need medical practitioners, they need nurses, so they open the gates. That was why when you push, they pull. Organizations are actually advertising in Nigeria for people to come to the UK, to come to the US, to come to Canada, to fill the gap in their employment. So that makes it even much easier for people to, pack up their bags and go. Now, not forgetting that Nigeria is struggling right now, and there's nothing that you can say, something to write home about, that, you know, maybe my life will be better. So they don't see any progress in Nigeria, but they see the lucrative environment over there. And so everyone is even selling lands, houses, and pulling like 20 million. To Japa is not cheap. So it's like, I mean, there's a gentleman, sold his house, sold his cars, brand new cars. He was very well to do. He went to Canada. Now when you call him, it's like, you know, hold on, I have a client, I will get back to you in about 15 minutes or 30 minutes. The client is he's a cab driver. Yes. So now he's trying to come back, but it's too late. He has sold everything. So it's a dicey situation. If you go there and you find it easy, God bless you. But if you don't, my own relatives now, they're going through the same thing that I went through 40 years ago in the UK. Why?
Okay, Dr. Medu. I don't even know where to begin this question with you, you know, because maybe one angle that I would look at, because something that she said now registered in my mind that perhaps technology, which is supposed to be an improvement, made it even a little more dicier, much easier for people to say they want to leave, because the West, wherever else, is only going to advertise the good side. No one advertises the back end until you begin to experience it, just as you say. So what do you think? Do you think it's avoidable, this Japa syndrome?
Well, let me take it from where Prof stopped. Consequences. You see, the question is, why are people leaving? And when you want to solve a problem, to say whether it's avoidable, you have to look at the root cause, isn't it? So if we look at why are they leaving, probably if we start looking at the root cause of why they're leaving, and we start tackling those issues from the whys, then we can say, can we avoid it? But again, some things are just normal. You see, world over, time immemorial, people migrate to where they have better opportunities. But in our own case, you know, bringing it back home in Nigeria, where are people living? People want better opportunities, you know, abroad. Like Prof said, we have issues at home. With inflation as high as 34.8, you know, even rising. We had 34.6, now we've moved to 34.8, and we don't know where we are going to have a cap. So we have big issues. And talking about technology, whether technology is going to help or not, you know, maybe when we look at it, technology has pros and cons. It can help with the Japa. I think when we get to another point of this discussion, we should also look at Japada. You know, so there's also, we should start also talking about Japada. I do research, and there's a conversation, there's even a research we're working on now. And in my mind, I'm like, let's start thinking about Japada. Maybe when the research figures are out, we can have a conversation around this. So technology can help with both Japa and probably Japada. But more importantly, we can maybe reduce the rates and also even get value, okay, using technology as well. Who says that the skills that are being learnt abroad, you see, abroad, the Western world, they are very developed. Another reason people go is for infrastructural deficit that we have here. People want good health. I have a friend in her 50s. She was comfortable in Nigeria, but she said, I'm getting old. I'm a widow. My kids are grown. They are abroad. Who is going to take care of me here? So she just wanted a place where she's sure of good medical attention. I had another one that, you know, thieves came to her house twice in a new place. She couldn't recover from the trauma. She wanted a safer environment. So by the time we start looking at these kind of issues, and it's not just about you and I, it has to be a multi-stakeholders approach, from government policies, you know, intentional policies in place locally here. Employers looking at how we can even retain people. We have to be beautiful brides as employers as well to make people want to work with us. And maybe from a patriotic point of view, if we all start looking at how can we make Nigeria better, maybe some of us would want to stay back and make homework, you know. So, I mean, it's a big and holistic face that we have to look at to solve this problem.
Mr. Shomi, she said something latterly about us coming together to make Nigeria a better place so that this jackpot thing will reduce. But between the people and the governments, please note the choice of governments, does it rest mainly on the people, or what the governments at various levels are doing to make Nigeria a better place? Because the main reason why they are leaving, no light, no water, no good health care. And it seems to me that the list of the things that, you know, they're complaining about all rest with government to sort out.
Well, I probably would have a different perspective to this very issue. I don't think we've taken an holistic perspective, you know, perception of the problem of what we call JAPA. JAPA is different from brain drain, completely different. Brain drain is more or less a voluntary departure, you know, exiting from your own situation in search of maybe job satisfaction. It's not necessarily driven by monetary incentive or anything. So it's totally different. You may choose to relocate. When people are relocating, the era of Andrew.
Sometimes it is. The doctors who are leaving because they're not well paid, because they're not enough good enough facilities in our hospitals.
Yes, the era of Andrew.
We have research to back that up, actually, Alero.
The era of Andrew is totally different. You can have researches and all that. You need to look at the whole global system. How did you arrive at where you were when it comes to JAPA? Don't forget that in 1980, from 1980 onwards, when we had the new liberalism, you know, the post-capitalism evolving into neoliberalism, and then you see all what happened with the economy when the capitalist economy was being dismantled deliberately in a way that to make public institutions inefficient. It's the same story all over Europe and America. In a way that public institutions became inefficient, states funding got reduced, and then deliberately promote the private sectors. After achieving that, in a way that workers were constantly under attack in those countries, in a way that the employers were the one determining the wages, not longer the union. So in that consequences of that, one of it is that there are so many low-paid jobs, which the citizens are no longer willing to undertake. So that has created a gap in the labor market in those countries. The second aspect, which we have not touched on, is globalization. The effect of globalization, which was an agenda pushed by World Trade Organization. The effect of globalization is such that it created so many interconnected linkages among different countries in the whole world, including the people, including labor and capital, in a way that it is easier, you know, you don't look at your own country as your country alone, you look at the whole economy, the global economy, as interconnected. Consequently, it created the freedom of capital and the freedom of labor. Wherever capital goes, labor can go with it. So when you have a situation where globalism now took away the resources from many of those countries, and I will give you a very good example. When you look at this JAPA syndrome, people are traveling. They are selling houses, selling cars, selling so many valuable things, you know, to escape the country. What do you think is going on? It's capital flight from a poor country like Nigeria that is moving to develop economics like UK, Germany, Spain, America.
So there are a lot more consequences of this
Absolutely.
whole syndrome.
It's beyond just people migrating.
I agree. While I understand what you're saying, it all comes back to one thing. Nigeria is losing.
Absolutely.
Nigeria is losing brains.
That is the point. It's
Nigeria
not
is
only
losing
brains,
human
we are
resources.
losing money.
Let me just quickly bring you up to speed. We just received one of the conversations we just. By the way, you can also contribute to this conversation on Sunrise CTV. Osasogboro is saying that government should do everything to stop the brain drain syndrome. And I'm going to come to you, madam. Says, I'm struggling to get an ENT specialist in Abuja hospitals. ENT specialists in Abuja hospitals. And I know that teachers are also struggling in that regard. I know that practically every sector in the country is losing, we're losing brains. That's the whole idea. We're losing economies, we're losing resources. Again, I ask, could it have been avoided?
Well, probably to an extent. You see, globalization, if I have to take that word, you can't restrict movements. You know, it's been like
Yes,
that. But the
is
brain drain for us, I mean, let's bring it back home. Let's even leave, let's forget what is happening in other places. Let's bring to our own home. So brain drain here, there are things we could have done. And like I said, it has to be a multi-stakeholders approach. Government has a role to play. Professionals have a role to play. You and I, all of us here, we have a role to play as citizens. So maybe not totally avoidable, because you can't stop human beings. But the brain drain,
I get that.
we can have things, systems in place that can even make people that have left to still contribute back home, number one.
Okay.
Sorry, let me land on my point. So in Malaysia, for example, they have incentives for people that have left to bring them back home, to contribute their expertise home. And that's why I said, even governments need to have deliberate approach. There has to be a policy angle to this, and it has to be intentional. So if someone cannot, you don't really have to, people contribute back home. I say I don't have a problem with people leaving sometimes, because they also need to get the expertise that we don't have back home. Where will they learn these things from? Is it our educational system that is not very good as well? But let them bring what they've learned to help home. And government needs to make it viable. The government needs to make it attractive. So that's why I think government has a role in that area, to make it attractive for people that are abroad to bring their expertise to help us back home.
The reason I asked you
and the people that are home, to reduce the attraction to want to go out.
Okay.
So those are the things we need to look at.
The reason I asked you, and I'm going to bring it to Prof. The reason I asked the question is because of her PR development, practice.
HR.
Beg your pardon. HR, thank you. Development practice, sorry. So the question for me is, okay, just recently, Prof, and I don't know how you felt about it. The University College Hospital, the students, not the hospital itself, the students in the hospital have not had electricity supply for upwards of 80 plus days, more than 82 days. No electricity for students of a University College Hospital. Once vintage, once prime, once the attraction of the globe. That's for students. University of Ibadan itself, the entire institution, have had their fair share of that. I was speaking to, the issue of human capital development and the fact that when those things are not going the way it should go, it's an opportunity for people to say, if I can afford it, I'm a go.
I'm out of here.
So that's why I asked if it was possible to bring down the potential or the propensity for people to say, I want to leave my Nigeria, or I want to send my children out of the country. Of course, I understand that diaspora people always bring money to us. That's good. But must we lose brains as a result as well?
Well, absolutely not. And I think she addressed that issue. There's a governmental role to play. And there is, the role that we play as citizens of Nigeria. The government needs to work on, and power has always been a problem for us. I don't know why. It's not rocket science. Other countries in the world do it, and they get it right. So I don't know what we're doing with power that, that would, it's uncalled for a university, an institution of higher learning to not have power. But that's as an aside. We as individuals, and I believe in governmental role, but not very much, especially since the government has been there all this time. Governments, like she said, yeah, all this time, and still no progress. I think we can do things as individuals as well. Make our companies attractive. And how do we make them attractive? Create spaces where people know that even in all of this turmoil, this company is taking care of me. I can afford to stay in this country, and I can survive here. Barring that, I think technology is probably a way to keep the brain drain down. We can't stop it. It's a dicey situation, but for example, and again, I'll give examples from my situation. I have teachers, and my teachers were looking at leaving. And what were they gonna go do? They were going to go abroad. And we convinced them by me, buying them laptops and introducing them to online teaching to say, okay, you can still enjoy being in Nigeria, your people, and you can teach for colleges abroad. How's that? And at least, 5 or 6 of them accepted, that they were going to try that. So that is for me in my little space. How come many more of us are not able to do that?
Okay, that speaks to what she was talking about earlier that I responded to about us making Nigeria more attractive. That is one angle.
But there's this also, and I'll come to you, Mr. Showomi. Okay, so there's this email from Festus Akimboyewa, this message on X from Festus Akimboyewa says, it's tough for developing countries. Funny, many young people born in the UK are jack-buying from UK to Australia and Canada. UK is now recruiting prison officers from Nigeria, and many of them are sleeping in their vehicles because of lack of housing. Time government addressed the reasons why people are leaving Nigeria. It's a documentary I'm watching on Prime about poverty in the United States of America, and that people are literally living in their cars. I saw, like kind of college, and they've gone to 2 states. The issue she raised about the role of government is significant. There is no shying away from it. 34, almost 35, practically 35%.
4.8%.
35%, inflation is definitely telling on any economy. And that's why someone who is comfortable would say they want to leave Nigeria. Tell me if you think there is a role for states. Many times when we're talking about these things, we're talking about the federal government. Is there a way for states, governments? I'm always talking about state governments because it's like we always give them a pat in the back or a slap on the wrist all the time. Is there a role for states to track down the mental resources in their states by one way or the other, so we don't leave it all just to the federal government, going by what she said, that all of us must come together?
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at the push factors, it's not only the federal government, the states have responsibilities too. Even though they would have to come to look at the pull factors, the value of the pull factors, is something that we will find our youth will find very difficult to resist. And I will give you a very good example. When you look at the COVID, the COVID era or post-COVID, in UK, between November 2021 and January 2022, they had 1.3 million jobs vacancies. in UK, whereas people live in Nigeria, they can't get a job. So the allure is always there. And internet, social media has made it so easy for people to know about developments in different parts of the world. So we have that problem. The second issue in relation to the states is when we see policies being implemented in developed economies, within the context of globalization, we really need to know, study and understand the impact assessment on our own economy. When public funding of education was reduced in UK, for instance, the goal is with the intention to drive in foreign students with a view to, bring in capital from abroad to fund their own educational system. We accepted that. We chose to reduce, funding for our public university system without any expectation of any money coming into our own system. So what you see currently is that even aggressively, UK is busy trying to get foreign students in. As I'm speaking to you, 60% of the postgraduate students in UK today are foreign students. They are bringing enormous resources to those countries. That is why they reduced the public funding for education and created the top-up grants. But we fail to understand that. We simply absorb it. The state's government can do it differently. Each state can do it in line with their needs. We used to have what they call in the Southwest, when Awolowo was alive, free education. They have their own basic free health services and all that. So each state can do their own thing differently. You don't have to simply just adopt policies being implemented abroad without considering the impact on your own people. That is what. The other side of it is not just about jobs. There are people who are not just satisfied with the job they're doing because of career progression. You have issues with the way we handle our industrial relations problem in Nigeria. Look at ASU, for instance. ASU had reached an agreement with past governments since 2009. Till today, they are yet to implement that agreement. They have gone on strike countless times. So many students, got fed up. And because you can no longer predict when your word will go into the university and come out, people then felt, look, I better get my children abroad. These are part of the problems which we have. Industrial relations is very key. That is why when you mentioned Chris Ngige at that time, for me, it was a disaster. As Minister for Labor, to even say that doctors can leave, we had so many of them. Now, today, we can see the effect. In many rural areas, we only have nurses attending to people. It's only in the urban centers that you see doctors. So the state governments have major role to play. They need to make life more comfortable. Rural area roads need to be done. We need potable water. Okay. It's a sign of a failed state if the residents or citizens have to start digging borehole to provide water for themselves. The issue of power, which Professor mentioned, is also very critical. There are a lot of things people can do and achieve satisfaction. At least a measure of satisfaction.
So essentially, you're saying the states need to wake up.
They have a role to play.
There's something that Dr. Medu, said the other time, and I'd like you to speak to the skills gap in the country. Someone already said that they're needing some skills in Abuja hospitals. And there are several other skill gaps all across Nigeria, again, to states. Because if people are comfortable, even if it's, minutely comfortable, I'm not sure that a good number of them will have, the interest of going out like that. On the one hand, the skills gap. On the other hand, the opportunities in the country. Do people know that the opportunities are there?
Thank you, Ayo. And so let me start with the skills gap. And you said I should tie it to states. I'm happy that we have 36 states in Nigeria, plus the FCT, meaning that if each of the states can start doing something from their own areas, cumulatively, we will have something all of us can see that will be significant, probably. Okay, and there's been a lot of research around skills and demand. And it also ties to region, just like we've been saying that in the developed areas, nations, They have skills that they're looking for. And that's why they're calling people to come and say, come and fill these gaps that we have here. Here, locally as well, we have skills gap in the health sector. It's very huge. You just said in Abuja Hospital, we don't have a professional and expertise for ENT. That's very serious. Okay, we have in the tech, so people are taking our tech experts, they're taking our health professionals, they're taking our education experts. Okay, and this is huge locally. And these are areas that we need to develop here in Nigeria. And to say what roles can states do? Let me speak to some of the things I've been involved recently. In Lagos State, for example, they have Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. One of the things Lagos State has been doing, and I'm not a politician, I'm just trying to say what other states can probably learn from. Okay, so yes, I consult on the project, so I can say that. One of the things they've done is they've done skill gap assessment in Lagos State, and they are focusing on youth. Youth in Nigeria, if we look at the demography and the population of Nigeria, they form the bulk. People under 30 form about 70% of Nigerian population. And if the baby boomers, like Prof said, have a gap abroad, we also have here in Nigeria. So we need to start feeling for the skills of tomorrow and today. So what they are doing, after looking at the skills assessment survey, was to now start training intentionally, government funding, partnering with other donors. And so when people finish, you are able to either move to a paid internship, paid job, or you go the entrepreneurial track, which also helps with job creation. So people will not lose hope. My friend said she went abroad and that people are happy to be washing plates because here they don't even have anything to feed themselves. That they're happy to wash plates to feed themselves because they can die of hunger here. So is that bad? In Katsina also, Katsina State, something they also are doing, they have an agency called KASIDA, Katsina Enterprise Development Agency. They just set up. A new governor came and decided to set up that. So if that can be replicated in most of the states, we will start, maybe start moving the needle, probably, and that will cumulatively help all of us here in Nigeria. And from the HR point of view, because it's not only just government, what can you and I do? From the HR point of view, people can start looking at how do we retain talent? Okay, in retaining talent, can we start looking at, maybe do surveys from time to time, feel the pulse of our organization? Can we start having retention strategies like maybe offering incentives? Small businesses form the bulk of businesses in Nigeria. So cost of doing business is high for them. They may not be able to do much in terms of having a competitive wage system. But there are other things that we can do, like maybe phantom shares, maybe a bit of work from home, remote work, flexibility. Can we have engagement, make them feel special, recognition? It could be something as basic as that. We can have long-term and short-term strategies, locally that we can do. And I think even the Nigerian Orientation Agency, they also have a role to play. During Andrew's time, we used to hear, Andrew, don't check out. So we were even singing the song, all of us would be flowing, and it was registering. But what are they doing now? I think they've been quiet. So they should also wake up and start doing. All of us need to come and solve this problem together.
Okay, there's this, I don't know whether to call it a comment or an observation from Patrick. The most reason why guys jackpot is to secure their future and that of their families. Our healthcare system is in a shambles, education has collapsed, infrastructure is moribund, insecurity is unprecedented, corruption is systemic, and the list is endless. That's from Patrick.
Well, this one is from Anonymous, very, very famous guy. Says, I qualify as a consultant in medicine in Nigeria. For 2 years in my state, where I was the only person in the specialty, I was not confirmed as a consultant for almost 2 years. So I japa.
We need the japada, really.
So she's been talking about japada, and a number of people have also said it. I've heard, I think Dr. Adeyemi also said it, that some people will japa and the way they japa, without good thinking, they japa.
They will japa.
So, because the president has been going, all presidents, to the best of my knowledge, have been going all over the world and saying that people should come back to Nigeria. When they come back to Nigeria, what are they coming to?
One more comment, Prof, before you react to that one. Dirty December is making the Nigerians in diaspora realize that Nigeria is not as bad as they think. Because there was a huge influx in December. You remember that?
Yes.
Good.
And actually, yes, you talked about the comment before the last one, that our educational system is in shambles. But these people that are being, pulled out of here still went through the same educational system that we say is in shambles.
True.
But they say, come,
true,
we'll take you. But you know what? We'll retrain you. And so they gain from the retraining. And hopefully, when they ever think of Japada, then that training that they got will benefit Nigeria. We can't stop this, but we can embrace it. We can find ways to make it work for us. Retirees over there, through technology, can consult over here, so that they don't have to leave their so-called comfort. And the young people over here can. In fact, I met a young man who said, "I don't want to go abroad, but I want to work abroad." That's the what is it? The virtual or remote work. So you do remote work, you stay in Nigeria, and you enjoy whatever it is that you have to enjoy in Nigeria. So I don't think it's altogether bad. I think there are ways that the system also makes us do the right thing when the time comes.
I think the challenge is the balance, and it's what Mr. Shomi was also saying the other time. I think the challenge is the balance. If we lose more than we gain, it is definitely heart-rending. For instance, there's this mail that we have from someone, I think it is, the UKA, says, "I lost my son in 2016 because we could not get pediatric neurosurgeon." And so, at some point, someone could have decided to stay in this country. You would remember that the same UCH that we were talking about earlier, people came from all over the world.
From Saudi Arabia.
The king of Saudi Arabia came to UCH
in Nigeria.
Ibadan. Please.
Ibadan.
Not just like Ibadan. To get medical help. And here someone is saying, unfortunately, lost a child because we couldn't get a pediatric neurosurgeon. So I think the challenge is the balance. How do we balance it? Dr. Mendon was also talking about that earlier.
Yeah, in the first instance, nobody can stop migration. It has always been.
We don't want to stop it.
It's also beneficial.
We want to reduce it.
Even the issue is not
the drain that we want to reduce.
It's for us to benefit, to tap into it, for our own self-enlightened interest. Nobody has ever been able to stop migration. The way the academic system is structured, like Prof will attest, is that they have what they call, you go on sabbatical, you go abroad and then you share knowledge with others, you retrain, and then you come back. So we've always been having that. What we have not gotten right is the balance currently. We have more people moving out than returning to Nigeria. There are some few people coming back, but not a lot. So we need to get that balance right. One of the ways to do that is make the environment conducive. Everything is not about money. It's not about salary. You can hand poor salary, and if the living condition is good, you'll be fine. We've been talking about infrastructure. How many people have bothered about food? What we have in Nigeria is the 34.8% is food inflation. It's cost-push inflation. And what do we need to do? Get the state governments, they control the land. We produce more food. If you produce more food, bring down, crash the prices of foodstuff, start exporting foodstuff, then you see more people are willing to come back, because it's not just about salary, it's also about the living conditions. So it's extremely difficult. If we are on the right path currently, we are investing in infrastructure massively, you know, in infrastructure. We've heard about new rail line to run from Lagos to Abuja. We've heard about Lagos coastal coastal road. We've heard about Sokoto to Badagry and all that. So we are beginning to address some of this problem, but we need to put in more resources to address the infrastructural deficit and address the issue of power. If we don't fix power, it's going to be extremely more difficult to ask people who are living in comfort to come back into discomfort.
Insecurity.
The issue of insecurity, we've been able to address it to some point in terms of degrading the capacity of Boko Haram. But then, like we know, terrorism mutates. It has mutated into banditry, into kidnapping. Then we have our youths, given the life or the opulent lifestyle of our politicians, our youths are beginning to use, you know, the politicians' opulence as standard. So therefore, they're encouraged to get money by any means possible, even including, you know, going into cybercrime. So we actually need to look at what we're doing, look at our leaders, our political office holders. How do you ask people to tighten their belt when you are loosening your home belt? And then get the military. They're doing a fantastic job currently. Invest more in the military with a view to eliminate, including the Nigerian police force, with a view to deal with the issue of crime and insecurity in Nigeria.
Madam, you wanted to talk about Japada so much before we go.
Yeah, so Japada, there are a number of things that we can do. So people can Japada either using technology or physically. So in terms of technology, we can have systems in place that we can leverage on these skills that people abroad have, and they can actually develop systems here and support. There's something called knowledge management system. We don't have time. I did a research in that area, and the findings are so interesting. Maybe another time we can talk about that. So we can help manage system here, enhance the knowledge of the people that are here using technology. Okay, and people can actually come physically, maybe visiting experts. Government can guarantee security and some things that can, and like they do in Malaysia and some other countries, government can also provide incentives. Like if you want to come back home, we can give you maybe tax rebates, we can give you housing or something to make them to want to come back. So Japada, either partial Japada or full Japada. Okay. We can talk about that another time.
I get another time, but you know, before we go, Alero, Hakeem is saying, says, this syndrome has been with us from time immemorial. It is part of our neo-colonial mentality. Even when we had the strongest economy, our people were still traveling abroad, not only to study, but to settle down. You can hardly find any family in Nigeria, especially from the southern part, that doesn't have families who are permanently settled in abroad. So Japa or Brendan is not totally induced by the economic situation in the country, but more of mentality syndrome. In view of the chronic economic situation in some of these abroad countries, e.g. UK, there is need for a very strong enlightenment campaign for our younger generation to think twice before going abroad. We need to start thinking of Japada. I said that particular thought that you expressed here, Hakeem, is also corroborated by Festus Akimboyewa, who says, we will never know that our country is not terrible until we travel to other countries. So I don't want to try that one. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. Professor Abiola Awoshika Fakweto is Director, founding CEO of Olawoyin Awoshika School of Innovative Studies. Oasis, thank you for your time. Thank you. Dr. Funke Medun is an HR development practitioner. Thank you for your time. As well as Mr. Biodun Showumi, who is a social commentator. We appreciate your time this morning.
Just before we go, one more, this time from Fola Shade. And the NOA needs to do more to make people know that outside is not that rosy. A lot of people that Japa are stranded, all because they overrated conditions out there. Doctors with specialists should be placed on incentives outside the normal salaries.
So, in other words, the Japa has just Ja.
It's not totally bad abroad as well.
Well, we agree, but home sweet home.
To come back and
I remember that song by Chief Commander Ebenezer, but unfortunately I can't sing right now. We'll be right back for another conversation.
So I keep holding on.
Well, we're focusing on a farm now, and I'd just like to make a little comment that I went to a farm last week, and a farmer said to me, "You cannot farm in Nigeria, you cannot be a farmer in Nigeria and make a loss. The only way that can happen is if you are not managing your farm properly." Just keep that in the back of your mind while you listen to this about pineapple farming. Davidola Nigeria Limited is a pineapple farm, estate development and management company specializing in organic pineapple farming and distribution of various fruits. With over 8 years of experience in the pineapple business, and its owners say it is the largest pineapple farm estate in Nigeria and even in West Africa. Please welcome the CEO of Davidola Nigeria Limited and founder of Davidola Farms, Mr. Segun Alabi. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
And thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, ma'am.
The biggest pineapple farm in Nigeria. Interesting. This is the beginning of 2025. In general, what does pineapple farming entail? What is special about pineapple farming that you have a whole farm dedicated to growing pineapples?
Farm estate. Okay, that's a very interesting question. Now, when you look at the pineapple, pineapple has crown. And there's no any other fruit that has crown, to the best of my knowledge. Now, tomato doesn't have crown. So
it has what?
It has green leaves on top.
Green leaves on top. So,
tomato farmers come
when we look at when we look at the pineapple, why we are dedicated to pineapple farming, we didn't start with pineapple.
Okay.
When we started this business, we started with a whole lot of agricultural produce, such as cocoa, cashew, tomatoes, vegetables, cassava, corn, you can name them. That is where we started from. But in the journey of this agricultural business, we discovered that if you, just like you made mention from the beginning, that you cannot be a farmer in Nigeria and lost if you know how to manage what you are doing. And not only that, there are some areas, there are some things that can happen to you as an agriculture, as an agricultural person, as a farmer in Nigeria, that you might even lose everything that you have labored for. And we have had several experience in the course of our business as an agriculturist or as a farmer. And we discovered that pineapple is one of the produce that stand out among all other agricultural produce, and I will tell you why. 2018, we had about 4 hectares of cassava and maize, and I can tell you for free that in that fateful year, we had issue with herdsmen that destroyed all our farms, both corn and the cassava. In fact, there was a case that we have to go to the police station and tell them that, oh, this is what we have experienced. And the response was, where is the cow that you arrested? And because there was no cow that we have arrested, nothing can be done. And you can imagine running after a cow to arrest cow. It's like you are pursuing somebody who have gone. What will be your experience? So when we look at...
Is it in the laws to arrest the cow? Just trying to imagine. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, sir, thank you. So when we looked at it, pineapple, now so a company reached out and said, can you supply pineapple? And then from there, we started from selling pineapple, buying pineapple, and we discovered that the demand keeps increasing, and we have to be importing pineapple from outside Nigeria. Wow. So we look at what we are producing in Nigeria is the best. Why do we have to keep on importing? In fact, we had an experience where we were bringing pineapple from Cotonou, and then there was a command from the then president of Nigeria, Buhari, that all the landed borders should be closed. We lost over 5 million naira worth of pineapple along the road. So all these things ginger us to say we are going to make Nigeria exporter of pineapple. And looking at the value chain in pineapple as well, in pineapple you can produce clothing, you can produce shoe.
Clothing?
Yes.
From what? The
From
pineapple skin?
From pineapple skin, because of the fiber. You can produce shoe. You can name them. You can produce.
You should have brought some samples now.
So pineapple is not just for smoothie. It's not just for fruit juice. There's a lot of, just like when people are eating cow skin, there are a lot of things you can get from it. So in pineapple, it has a whole lot.
Okay, you need to tell us more about this value chain.
Value chain in pineapple.
How it runs. And if you can also, for the sake of those who are just here, because I am hearing it for the first time, run us through this, how pineapple farming works. Because clearly it's not, as you say, it's not just a fruit.
No.
And how people can be a part of it. What do people need to know, understand, and then how can they be a part of it?
Oh, thank you so much. In Davies, we have pineapple farm estate. Just like somebody we have a real estate. So in our own is pineapple farm estate, where we give opportunity to people to become a farmer without necessarily being in the farm. Davies do all of this work because if we are saying we want to make Nigeria exporter of pineapple, then we can't do it all alone. As we all know that our farming is capital intensive. So what Davies is doing is to develop an estate into pineapple farming and give opportunity to own own a pineapple farm in our estate. And how does it work? One plot of pineapple farm in our estate is 2.5 million naira. When you pay to buy that pineapple farm, that portion, it belongs to you forever. You are the owner. So we manage it for you, get laborer, and manage everything that has to do with that portion, sell the pineapple, and then give you rent per annum. And how much comes to you per annum is 36% of your purchase price. You are buying 2.5 million naira now, then 36% of 2.5 million naira, you get that every year for the next 5 years. After
whether you are able to sell the pineapple or not,
you get your, and then when you are producing what, for example, now you are producing clothes or shoe. Now, I like your shoe and it's very, very good.
Thank you.
Now, let's say this shoe now, you are the one producing it.
Yes.
And you have 1 million buyer. And what your capacity as at now is 200 pieces. There's no how you won't keep on producing. Because one of the things that make people lose money in agriculture is when you are producing and you are looking for buyer after your production. But in case of pineapple farming or pineapple produce, buyer even looking for you. Last month, somebody took our pineapple to France. And the person called and said, please, how can you be supplying pineapple to France? At least 20 metric tons per month. But even in Nigeria...
Are you able to supply that quantity?
Now, we can't even do that right now because even local market we have not been able to satisfy.
Really?
Because it's huge.
Well, pineapple is expensive now. Why is that?
Okay, pineapple is expensive because of the cost of production. Now, we are talking about global climatic change, and all of these things affect agricultural produce as well. In our farm last 2 weeks, we have to dig another 2 industrial borehole that can generate water endlessly. So all of these things are a cost of production, and by then you are putting all of this cost of production into what you are doing. Definitely, it's going to affect the price. Okay. Also, because Nigeria is still importing pineapple, and you know the exchange, our naira is I don't want to use the word valueless. So if you are exchanging naira to
let's just say it's gone down in value.
Okay, it's gone down in value, but I hope it will increase in value. So when you buy a plot, we manage it for you. What happened after 5 years? After 5 years, you can say, okay, David, I want you to continue managing this pineapple farm for me. Or you want to say, okay, I want to sell my pineapple farm estate. Or you might say, okay, I want to be managing it by myself. Now, what you are buying at the rate of 2.5 million naira now in 5 years' time, let's say it's now 5 million naira now. It means your 36% will now be calculated on the 5 million naira because it's already, the value has increased. What we are selling at the rate of 2.5 million naira now, last year, January, I think we're selling at the rate of 1.3 million to 1.5 million naira. So there's increase in value. But for the sake of people who are watching this right now today, we have discount to give them.
What is the discount?
Okay. For the I like this. For the first 100 people that we key into this offer, instead of you paying 2.5 million naira, we are giving you 2.3 million naira.
Okay.
And the number you can reach us with is 081 164 64307.
Okay.
Another number you can also, because this one is just on WhatsApp, the other one you can also reach us with 091 5535 9764.
Okay.
Maybe I should take it again.
Yes, okay. Now,
and also
this is the deal. Pineapple plots are being sold at Davidola Farms for 2.5 million. But if you're watching this program and you call, well, you WhatsApp 0811 6464 307, that your introduction to Davidola was through this program, you will get a discount and you will pay 2.3 million. Yeah. The numbers, by the way, are on your screen right now. The WhatsApp number, which is 0811 6464 307, or you can call directly 0915 535 9764.
I assume you have a website?
Yes, we have a website, www.davidolafarms.com. And you can also reach us on our Instagram. Now, there are on our Instagram, Davidola Farms.
Just one quick one. The Davidola, that's the spelling on the bar on your screen right now, not any other one. So because some people will just be going for the dollar, and you think it's just, it's not that one. That's the Davidola on your screen. Just put .com on your URL, and then you get to their website for more information.
Sorry, I want to add this, because when we say you are the owner of those farms, then what are the documents?
That's what I was going to ask you. I'm the owner. What documents are you going to give to me after I have paid my 2.3 million?
Okay, now, just like when you are buying a landed property or you are buying a house, what you are going to get as document for this property are deed of assignment, registered survey in your name, land, pineapple farm management agreement, of course, the receipt of your purchase. Now, all these documents cost 300,000 naira. It's different from the purchase price. So, for you to get all this, because all these documents are being provided by surveyor that is registered with Ogun State government. Because
did
the land,
you say 300,000?
300,000 per plot.
To get the documentation.
To get the documentation.
Can I buy multiple plots?
You can buy multiple plots. In fact, if you are buying 1 acre, which is 6 plots, you have additional offer. So if you are buying 1 acre, you had additional offer of 500,000 naira. So
1 acre.
If you are buying one, which is 6 plots, we will give you we are going to give you 500,000 naira off your purchase.
So how much do I pay if I want to buy an acre?
So if you want to buy an acre, that's we give offer for 2.3 million. So you times 2.3 million times 6, and you minus 500,000 naira.
Give me the figure now. This man.
He's not very, he doesn't. He's a farmer. Well, tell us about the farm allocation process.
Now, the farm allocation process. What we always do after this talk, what we do is every three months, between 3 to 5 months, everybody comes to the farm. Because you don't just buy one today and say, okay, 2 people, let's go to the farm. So our allocation is always a very big ceremony.
So this is that's what's happening on your screen right now?
Yes.
Tell us what's happening here.
I didn't get that.
Tell us what's happening on the...
What is happening right here is allocation day.
Okay.
Where we allocate individuals' farm to them.
Okay.
They come to the farm and then they take picture, they see their portion. For somebody who is not in Nigeria, because 80% of our subscribers are not actually in Nigeria.
Okay.
And I was hearing you talking about Japan and how people can invest in Nigeria. It's one of the things that Davidola is actually doing to bring. If you cannot send yourself, you can send your money, you can have property whereby you can come back to Nigeria thereafter to enjoy the fruit of your...
send yourself, you can send your money. Okay.
To enjoy the fruit of your labor.
Okay.
And another allocation that is coming up now is going to come up in May this year. So whoever is buying now, by May this year, you're going to get your land be allocated to you. We don't wait till 1 year, 2 years, 3 years.
Now, I hear someone asking a question. If I'm buying a plot, you give me 200,000 naira off.
Yes.
Right? But if I'm buying an acre, you give me 500.
Extra. The word extra 5.
Meaning, I first of all have 200 naira off of each plot.
Yes.
Then I'll now have 500.
Yes, that's correct.
Extra.
Yes.
In other words, you are paying not 2.5, you're paying 2.3.
You're paying 2.3 times
6 minus 500,000.
So in other words, you'll be paying 2.2 per plot. Is that what it comes to?
If that math is correct, that is it.
Okay. All right. So the website. Now, first of all, there are those who are wondering, where is this farm located?
Okay, the farm is located in Ogun State, behind Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwe. That's where the farm is being located.
But that's not the only Davidola farm, is it?
For now, that is where we have.
That's the one you are selling?
Yes.
Okay. So this farm is in Ogun State, right?
It's in Ogun State, right?
Now, one of the things that you've said is, you'll still repeat those numbers, but one of the things that you've said is that after 5 years, what are the things that people can do? So what if someone says, okay, I don't want to farm anymore, I want to build on that land?
Okay, now, you know, in landed property, there are some area that is for agricultural purpose.
Okay.
And there are some area that is for housing purpose. Now, if you want to turn agricultural area to housing purpose...
No, I didn't say that. I said my land.
Your land, yes. Okay, you want to turn your land where it's meant for agricultural purpose to housing...
I want to live on my farm.
You want to live...
There is something wrong with it.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. But you need to get an approval from the government, because where we are now is meant for agricultural purpose.
Okay.
Okay. So those numbers again before we close.
For the WhatsApp, especially for people who are not in the country, the number 081 164 64307. I want to call that again. 081 164 64307. And the other one you can call direct is 091 5535 9764.
Both numbers are on your screen right now. So.
And you can also send message on info@davidolafarms.com, or you go on our Instagram and also send message there, Davidola_farms on the Instagram.
Okay. Well, all the questions, all the opportunities are right there. I'm intrigued by the fact that you can make clothes and shoes from
pineapple.
Fruits.
Well,
it's okay. So, thank
you.
It's
never too late to learn.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Mr. Segun Alabi, CEO of Davidola Nigeria Limited and founder, Davidola Farms. Once again, if you want to contact them, you can contact them via WhatsApp on this number, 0811 64 307. And you can call 0915 535 9764. And you can also reach them on info@davidola.com. Of course, they have a website,
www.davidolafarms.com.
davidolafarms.com. Thank you very much for coming, Mr. Segun Alabi.
Thank you for
having me. And we wish
me.
you all the best. And don't forget, if you heard about this on the on our program, you can get a discount. So go ahead.
We're
Thank you
back.
very much.
Yes, after this moment. Okay. I hear that dancing is fitness. We'll hear more of that. Because in today's world, maintaining a healthy lifestyle is a top priority for many people, even children. And maybe because to a large extent we don't know, we haven't even made it a culture for the children, so they don't even know where it is. So with the rising cost of gym memberships, personal trainers, and expensive workout equipment, staying fit can look like luxury. So sometimes there is no money to spare outside of basic necessities. And what are those basic necessities? Food, shelter, clothing. Mobility is another one. Oh, telecom services. That's another necessity. So, but that doesn't mean that exercise is off the table for you. So investing in your fitness doesn't have to cost a thing. So we have a guest this morning to have a conversation with, and he's not someone that is new to us. Joel Zamere is our guest this morning. As usual, we have him here. He is the CEO, Institute of Registered Exercise Professionals, IREP. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank you. It's always good to be here.
2025, we're still in January. We deliberately brought you in January because we need all of our energies together and focused so that we can achieve all of our goals in the year 2025. Fitness on a budget.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Well, after this very expensive dirty December that just passed, this happens to be a very good topic. Apart from the fact that a lot of people now need to get back to a healthy lifestyle.
Back to life.
Back to reality. Right? Back to reality, yeah. Talking about fitness on a budget makes a lot of sense. But there is a way you can be penny wise but pound foolish, right? You can think that if I absolutely do not do anything, then I could just somehow get better. I will always say it, that when it comes to fitness, it is a health issue. So you can't just say, because I'm trying to run, my budget, I will just hit the street and follow Junior that runs every day in my estate. I've said that first. You still need some kind of guidance. Cheap guidance, if you're looking for, yes, is available, but the point is, don't forget that part. But now, let me talk about a couple of things that you can do right now. The first...
Sorry, before you go there, this
cheap
consultancy,
yes.
Can we get it on YouTube?
Unfortunately,
because some people is gonna say, maybe there are plenty on YouTube.
Unfortunately, what you need, that cheap part is just for someone to do an online assessment for you. That's all. It's cheaper than having a physical trainer coming to do the physical assessment for you. That's just all I mean. But on YouTube, nobody can do an assessment for you on YouTube, you know? So it's just like you have a medical condition, or maybe you're not feeling well, and you're like, you go to Google and you type symptoms, and then you type all this and say, tell me the sickness. You know, it will tell you that, well, this is what I think, but I advise you to go to the doctor.
It probably will give you several options.
Yeah,
It will
you
give you about 10
And then
options.
what will now hit you is some kind of confusion. Because you'll not be like, okay, God forbid, God forbid, God forbid. And then you'll be like, maybe this one. But you'll still not be at rest and you'll be endangered. And if a doctor hears that's what you did, you get the point now.
Yeah.
So someone, I mean, just to emphasize that a little further, because
Yeah.
we tend to take things for granted. Maybe it's just headache I have.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's just headache.
Till we're all weeping, right?
And then you just, okay, headache, I'm having headache.
Yeah.
What is wrong with me? It will list like, say, 20 like conditions.
Yeah.
And you now come to that. God forbid, God forbid,
Yes,
God forbid,
yes,
God
yes.
forbid.
Like, you look at like the light ones.
Okay,
And
well,
like,
AI makes it even worse now because you put all the symptoms and AI will just narrow it to something.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
But AI will now tell you, I am
Go and
not
see
a
your
doctor. Because, you see, the thing with the human body is that it's so complex that just not taking enough water can be the reason you have headache.
whether you like it or not, what you just said now about taking water, I experienced it this week.
See?
I didn't know how dehydrated I was.
Yeah?
Until a doctor friend of mine just said, you're having a headache. Okay, maybe you should just take water. And I had a hard time finishing a quarter of a 1 liter bottle of water. I gulped down 1 liter bottle of water in less than 20 seconds. And I asked myself, wait, are you that thirsty?
Yeah. Apparently.
And I gulped another one in less than 2 hours. After that, and I was like, oh, God Almighty. I didn't know. So, yes, that's important.
Yeah. You know, so, I mean, the point is to show you that you still need some kind of consultation, right?
But tell me, because to the question of complexity of the human body, we don't know how complex it is. Give us an idea of the complexity so that we can know how seriously we need to take this fitness thing.
Okay, fantastic. So a bit of maybe little anatomy or biology discussion. So the human body has different systems. So I'll give you an example. If you say something like hormonal system, right? The hormonal system, as much as it's a system on its own, is dependent on other systems. We have what we now call endocrine systems, right? We have maybe cardiovascular systems, right? We have digestive system. We have all these systems in the body.
I'm hearing this hormonal system, and what did you call the other second? Endocrine system.
Endocrine system, really, it's under it that we have the hormones. Okay, that's where you have the hormones. And you see some people, they either have some problem, maybe birth control, giving birth or getting pregnant, or they don't sleep well. And what they really need is exercise, right? Or eat well or distress.
Exercise for getting pregnant?
Yeah. You see, if you have hormonal imbalance, women know this, you won't be able to conceive. Is that factual?
Wow.
Yeah, so my point in saying this is that everything is connected. If your cardiovascular system isn't working properly, then oxygen and energy are not getting to the cells properly. You see the point. If you eat anyhow, which is digestion, and your food will not digest properly, it will affect so many other things. So the thing with exercise is that just like every other aspect, because it's not the only part, what you eat also matters, okay? And the lifestyle you live generally also matters. But exercise has a direct impact on your health without what we call comorbidities. So if you take any drug now, for instance, it always has a side effect. But the idea of the drug is that you have this massive problem. It's better to cure that problem and live with this other side effect, like maybe headaches or maybe dysentery or whatever. Maybe you're having to go to the toilet or you have headaches or something. So when people have a particular condition, what doctors will do is that solve the problem that is terminal and leave those other things that they can still live with.
Or live with.
So most drugs have comorbidities in that sense. But when you, especially all these hormonal balance drugs, you see women begin to become very big, you know, and all that and stuff like that. So, but when you exercise, it doesn't have that kind of ripple effect. And it goes to do so many other things that we don't talk about. Bone density is exercise. Muscle, to avoid muscle atrophy, it is exercise. Atrophy means that as you're growing older, you're beginning to slouch and stuff like that. It is exercise that does it. That your bone is strong and you fight against arthritis and osteoporosis and all those diseases that come as you become older in life. It's exercise that does it. Ability for your metabolism to be high so that you can burn calories well and faster. It's exercise that does it. Just you want to feel good without taking drugs. It's exercise that does it. So we can keep going on. So essentially, there's absolutely no one that does not need exercise, from toddlers, from children, all the way to a 90-year-old, no matter how old the person is. So is that important.
It helps the body to remain mobile and functioning the way
it's supposed to work. Yes. Okay. I will say this to you. The body is designed by God to move. That is what it's designed to do. It's not designed to sit down
or lie down
24 hours. Some things are allowed to, like koalas. I'm sure, don't worry.
And sloths.
Yes, they're allowed to do that. But not you humans. You are supposed to be, you know, quite intelligent. Okay. So you are supposed to move a lot. And if you don't do that, your body starts to have different issues. And that's why we're talking about this, and it's quite important, yeah.
Okay, so Joel, gym memberships are expensive. So I don't want to go to the gym.
Please, my people need this thing. These gyms are it's my industry, please. You know, relative.
Okay.
Dirty December, the money that people spend in the club is not a fraction of gym membership now.
Okay, all right. So
it's expensive,
gym
but I understand, we pay for it.
Yes, it's not free.
Yeah, true.
And then I can't afford to buy gym equipment that I'll be using at home.
Very expensive, yes.
But I want to keep fit.
Yeah.
So what do I do now?
Many. Oh, let me start with one of my favorite. Pick up a sport.
Oh, she has to.
Oh, pick up a sport.
Okay.
When I say pick up a sport now, let me just qualify that. Okay. Not once a week.
Okay.
Or once a month.
Okay.
But pick up a sport.
Okay.
Tennis.
Table tennis. Lawn tennis. I know she's lawn tennis, I know. But let me tell you why I don't want to say lawn tennis. Right? We are talking about privilege, right? You know where to find lawn tennis. Do you know where you can find lawn tennis?
Clubs.
Privileged areas, right? So, you know, but when you're big, right? So,
okay.
So I know you're lawn tennis, but table tennis is a game that anybody can play. I don't know about you, but when we grew up, my dining table was literally our table tennis. We just look for one mop stick, put it like this, and we look for one plaque, and paka. When Popsy is coming with packets, you don't know that there's a table tennis ground. You know, so table tennis. But seriously, table tennis is a good game, for instance. You don't have to go far, you don't have to go wide. It's in one place, right? Squash, privileged, but good game, right?
In fact, that one is harder than lawn tennis.
Yeah, it's a very, strange, but it's a good game.
I mean, even when I was playing tennis, I couldn't play squash for more than 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Please, the kind of games you are talking about is not what? It's not card games.
No,
it's not Ludo.
Nice
saying.
Nice one.
I'm just saying.
With card games, you're back to sitting down.
Hey, you pick up a spot.
I remember I was talking to the other person, like, I know you like I like chess.
Ludo.
Yeah, I like chess. I'm like, you literally have to sit down to play chess, right?
Exactly.
So
and you don't want us sitting down.
We're talking about physical activity.
Okay.
Things that get your blood pumping.
And your body moving.
So you can take walks. There are many other things. So picking up a sport is quite good.
How much walking can one do before you say that, yes, you've had a good workout? Like,
so I will recommend to my client.
A mile?
No. So I won't use distance.
Okay.
I will use frequency.
Okay, let's say 3 times a week.
No, I will say 5. No, let me tell you why.
Joel, slow down.
No, let me tell you now. Let me give you this gist. Let me tell you as it is. See, I'm not saying 2 hours of walk. That's not what I'm saying.
How long?
I'm saying if you can do between 30, 45 minutes to 1 hour every day, you'll be as fit as they come.
Okay.
And guess what? endorphins will be popping. You'll be strong. And it's cheap. And it can also be that hour when you just go to think. Right? So it has its benefits. And you can do it any time. You can do it in the morning, you can do it in the evening.
How about cumulative 1 hour in a day?
What do you mean by cumulative 1 hour?
So,
I know what you mean.
You do 20 minutes now, and you go to the office.
Yeah,
and then
but I found that that's not realistic. You see, when you enter work mode, when you enter work mode, even people that, I have friends that are like, when this, working from home started, a lot of my friends say, they're going to opt for that. They'll be going to the gym, that, they will give them time and all that. Guess where they are? Guess where they are? In that house. The work has multiplied. So I agree with the accumulation, but it might not be in a day. It might be tough to do that.
Perhaps the challenge is because there are some things that you have told us here before.
Yeah.
I, for one, I can't take a call sitting down.
Oh, right. Good.
I have to get up.
Oh, nice. I should call you more often then.
Because
and get him moving, right?
Yeah.
I have
to like 5 times a day.
I mean, you want to have a conversation with me? If the moment I see it, I just pick the call.
Whoa.
I'm likely to do 1 minute if the conversation is not.
Yeah.
But once it begins to get to a particular crescendo, I am on my feet.
Great.
Pacing up and down.
Yeah.
So
that is good, but I've told you here before.
That's why you are like this.
That is good, but that is not sufficient.
I'm talking about I'm trying to accumulate.
Yes.
That
so let me
for
give you an
some
example.
people. Okay.
You are picking up calls, right? That's good, but don't forget what I've said here before. Exercise is you putting stress on your body so that your body can be strong enough to go about your day, essentially. So there's something we call progressive overload. When you are not exercising, physical activity and exercise are not the same thing.
Okay.
Exercise is in physical activity, but exercise is prescribed exercise so that you can be fit and strong and ready for whether old age or your work, right? So picking up the call is good. You're adding to your activity level, but it's not sufficient. You need that dedicated
time,
increased intensity beyond a normal work to exercise. Your mind also has to be in the exercise. You can't be thinking about work, somebody stressing you. Let's say, for instance, you are working and somebody stressing you out on the phone. You know, maybe it's your mechanical, and you're shouting on the phone, and you're walking up and down. That's not exercise. That's stress time.
No, someone wants to get a package from Timu. They are collecting call. That kind of.
That's work. You're working.
Please, I'm looking only at you, as you can see.
You're not looking at anybody else, right?
Yeah,
you frame it right at me, right?
Yeah. So what are the other?
Now, also, apart from taking those walks, if you love dancing, and Nigerians happen to be people who love dancing. Most of us don't have 2 left feet, right? So that's where YouTube can now come in. If you say YouTube. Now, let me tell you something. There's YouTube, there's data, there's free YouTube, there's advert, So even not everything is cheap like that. But if you want to now do dance YouTube, that's fine. The only problem will still come back to depending on your age and maybe the intensity you need to be working out. So if
there are limitations to what you should do.
Yes, so I will never tell anyone to just go ahead and exercise. You get, because out of every 100, if something happens to one person, I take that very seriously, right? Yeah. So it's better not to have that 1%, data than to just tell everybody, seek the consultation. We have a lot of certified personal trainers in Nigeria as we speak, and their numbers are there for you to call. 5 minutes consultation costs you almost nothing to talk to these people and say, help me, what do I do? I love dancing, for instance.
Stress on almost.
Yeah, no, of course, no. I mean, these people are professionals, right? The point is, you can't compare that to when you go and have lunch somewhere and you eat. It's not that kind of money. That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying that those people also look at things like, personally also look at things like where you're calling from, who you are. Okay? If it's, I'm one other person, I'm in a particular place, I don't want to go and name names now so that, some areas don't get angry with me. And then you say, oh, you're from that place. But I can just say, okay, I give loads of advices. I mean, after this, I'm going to get calls. I usually get calls when I come on channels. What should I do? How can I do this? I tell people I don't charge them for it. Okay? But there's a level where you now come up and say, I want this kind of service, right? And I say, okay, I have a lot of students that can service these things, and then I refer those students to you. You know, so my point in going back to this is that you can dance also. But see, there's a kind of light dancing that you may not really need too much for. My point is I don't want you going all, you know, intense, and then you say, Joel told me to dance. But something light with music that you love, if you listen to a whole album, 4 minutes, 10 tracks, that's 40 minutes of dancing, right? That's great.
No, you can just go and listen to Obe. Straight 45 minutes.
Straight
or 30 minutes.
Okay.
You just be dancing.
Yeah, you know. So you.
But
you
it's not the kind of dance because someone is telling me it's not the kind of dance that you carry bread on your head and you're dancing on the street.
Which one
I'm just saying. I mean, you are hawking bread.
Oh, I see what you mean. No. As I said, that's work, and you're just, you know, you see some traffic wardens. They're like,
Yeah.
Now, they are better off than the other guy who is just doing like this,
Sedentary,
right?
yeah.
But if they don't do anything to increase the capacity, their fitness capacity, very soon that will become a bit, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Dancing, walking, what else?
Another thing you can, no, we said sport, don't forget that. So if you like soccer, you could do some raises, kick the ball to the wall, you know, do as if you're dribbling yourself, you know, or dribble somebody, you know, just passing balls and moving right and center is good. Swimming can be something you can take up, right? And you can mix them up. You can say, okay, I'll swim on Friday, I'll take a walk on Saturday, or
so
you know, whatever.
Essentially you're saying dedicate time for exercises.
Yes.
Don't mix exercise time with work.
Yes. But I'm also saying at work, be active, right? I'm not saying don't be active. Like what you do, I mean, I think I'm going to call you like 5 times every day now. So, but it's good that you always get up at work. Yes, you always move around, but still have those dedicated times where they're your workout times.
I think one thing that anyone can do from Monday, you know, when you go to work, even from tomorrow if you're going, even today if you're working, is to remain mobile.
Yes.
I think that's what this whole conversation is
I agree.
about. Just remain mobile. That helps to take care of atrophy. You know, your muscles stiffening up and all of those things.
And keeps you fit. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this.
Thank you.
Free counsel. Uzameri, CEO, Institute of Registered Exercise Professionals, IREP. Again, thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Really good to be here.
Okay.
And it's time for the home stretch. Stay with us. No marks for guessing. You can hear her already. Singer, songwriter, and actor, and troublesome babe, Yinka Davies. She's nodding away like an agama. Good morning, Yinka. Good to see you again.
Morning, ma. Morning, sir. Good morning, Nigeria.
She hasn't changed.
Oh,
She hasn't changed. Good to see you again.
Great program today.
What have you been doing since the last time
to all
you
the
were
people
here?
that came here. I've been doing a mental. In fact, our Jakpada people. I was listening. In fact, you see, I'm being very responsible now.
Very good.
And then sport. Pick a sport. Swimming.
Which one? Oh, you're going to swim. You're going to swim. That's good news. How's the acting coming?
Oh. Interesting. Like, it's coming. My brain is still calibrating on how to remember my lines.
That's not a surprise.
But I'm coming back slowly but surely. But I miss the stage.
Every time I imagine, don't see you, imagine Yinka Davies acting. I remember your Mogaji.
Yes, mommy.
They are in the same local government.
Yeah. That's a compliment.
Both of them
I should
are
say
in
that's
the
a compliment.
same body. Anyway, how have you been?
I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. You know, coming into a place where you're starting all over, more or less, because you always re-begin. The technology is too fast for me to even start trying to run after it. I'm not an old woman, praise God. I'm just not ready to be in this. That's a human being. I am yet to even get the human being right. I want to have excuse me, please find my own level. Please speak. Shall we begin this conversation? Mommy, I mean, I'm trying to be responsible.
By the way, you were brilliant in Battleground.
Yeah, it was a lot
the
of
other
work.
woman, Abby.
It was, yes, I hated that woman. It's the part. You have to play the part. You have to, yeah. Sadly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What was the attraction to acting for you? I mean, having done music for so many years.
No, before music at all. Your set, I would draw it. I would paint it. That was what took me from to stage. It was just like that. I see your set, and I'm like, oh wow. I would come and I wished I had concluded on, I pursued it. I would have been a set designer. Man, they would have known me on another side. Hey, my father, you people will be fearing and respecting, because I love set design. I didn't realize. I just realized.
Why didn't you pursue it?
I'm wondering. I mean, nonsense. Yes, ma. I did not pursue. The thing that they will catch, you will see me on set, and I'm already picking, twinkling, you know. Oh, no. But I want to start now. Maybe YouTube will teach me.
No, wait. Before we go, let's talk about that singing part for a while.
Okay.
You know, to date,
yes,
my favorite Yinka Davies song is Owo.
You are just boring.
Yes, I know. You know what she did
songs
with that song?
Please, let me tell you more. What's that?
Hey, gosh. She fused Fuji with jazz, with soul, and with juju music.
Oh, cool.
Who does that?
We do it.
Only...
But we do it. We do it well here.
Maverick. What's the word I used the other time?
Oh, please. I went there.
So how do that bass line on Owo is Kilati Mashaye isi o koyemi. That was the, and I'm like, where did that idea come from?
You know, we are we are multitasking as women. Women multitask.
All the time.
All the time.
That's what they talk.
And there must be iru and your inside soup. I mean, hello everybody, come on. You just have to enjoy the potpourri of all sorts of beauty and combine. And I believe that's a trait of a creative woman in short. So, and two, it's common in women to multitask. And if you can multitask as a housewife, you can multitask as a musician.
Someone please rescue me from
Oh,
this.
yeah. Well, there's one, I'm trying to think. I want to be able to the music now is so... Does that answer the question? No.
No, the music is so... Oh, it's so...
Okay.
But I love cavemen. I think you should I think she should bring them soon. We will look for them when they come into town. You nab them. You must speak with cavemen.
What's the difference about it?
The music is the ambience, the haunting,
But that's for those who love percussions.
True. True.
And I know that's one of your forte.
Exactly. Maybe that is why I would say we should nab them, and so.
Especially because you prefer stage to the celluloid.
Yes. So you see now, I'm done for. So you see, Nigeria, please. But when they come here, you know.
We transited from depending on foreign music to Nigeria.
Enjoying ours.
Over the years.
It's really quite commendable. You know, how we are now. Yeah. However, we have not started. Hello. What have we done? We haven't done anything. What are we doing? We're just coasting. We're still coasting. Coasting. Excuse me.
We are no longer as much in love with Charlemagne and the rest of them from foreign climes as opposed to what we have now. The pendulum has swung.
I agree, but we still don't have a foundation. Where is our root? Afrobeat. No. You see, the Afrobeat is not. No, mommy, please, correction. That is not Afrobeat. That's a jump. What's the jumping about? No problem. But don't call it Afrobeat. Separate equanum. No. I'm sorry, I might make it back.
Go ahead.
Separate equanum. Separate death from sleeping.
Sorry.
English.
Sorry.
Do not. You can call it alternative sound. You can call it anything you like, but that is not Afrobeat. Okay. You know Afrobeat when you hear Afrobeat.
No, but
they have to call it Afro. They can't call it Afro. Afro sound, Afro soul, Afro jump. I think I like the name Afro jump. Let them be calling it jump. Let them all be jumping. That's fine.
What they call it, they say it's not Afrobeat. Afrobeats.
There's a plural. I believe Keys. There's a guy, Keys Daniel. He has a way of defining himself, and I like his intuition. He moves. He finds another place. He glides in there. That's it. I don't know. There's another gentleman now. You see, I mentioned cavemen. Another person. I'm trying to think. Well, one time, Ashake tried, and then he slept. What is Sunsin? He's yet to wake up. God knows where he is. You know, I love Wizkid. I always love it. He did introduction, brought us into the international scene, and gave us Temi Dakolo. Not Temi Sha. Thames, that's the name. God bless her. They brought introducing Nigeria to the world. Mommy Mwe, we did introduction. Marriage, and the marriage is made in heaven. Can't you see us? We're looking fantastic. What are you talking about? But that is not Afro sound. It's Afro jump, Afro groove, Afro anything, but it's not Afro beat. And I love how Keith Daniel said it. He said Afro beat, shrine is fella. In one of the songs.
Afro beat. Okay, look. There's Afro S behind, and then there's Afro beats.
Mommy.
S2
S-O Nikki beat Masimbe. Am I speaking too much English here?
Kaledano.
No. Come on. Leave the case for the caser and leave the caser to the caser. But you make yourself. This is Africa,
so, King Sunny Ade, for instance, says his was African beats.
Exactly.
Point,
remember,
and then he made it.
It's called synchro system.
Beats now.
It's called synchro system. Remember synchro system?
That was in the 70s.
Oh my God! Why did we bring back the name synchro? Synchro system. You make sense. But I'm sorry, the man is his own crown. Find your crown.
No, in fact, he moved from synchro system to African beats.
I remember.
Now he's now king of world beats.
God bless him.
Okay. You're okay with that?
I'm indifferent.
Okay.
As long as Baba is Baba.
Which one is yours?
No, I just do traditional jazz, blues, soul. I'm still in the family member, and whatever comes up, if they want to give us alternative sound, that's okay.
Okay, if you would docket Nigerian music, if you put it in a docket, in a category, well, and you want us to, if it's existing, yes, fine. If not, where would you put Nigeria's music?
You are here to discover Nigeria, because Nigeria is too vast, too intensely vast to pigeonhole her. Nigeria is too much. Nigeria is either here or there. Have you gone to Kogi? Have you been to Zamfara?
To Nupe?
Have you been to that little jungle that we found in Sokoto, that we are yet to even describe how they sound? I want to call one to... No, Nigeria is Nigeria. Leave Nigeria alone. Nigeria has too many faces. A particular state has 400 and something languages, and you want us to be talking English? What English is that? 400 and what language? Before you now add the rest of the language that is Boa, Zobia, that's 3 out of 400. I mean, come on. No. Now, you can't pigeonhole this land. Congo will have their Congo Brazzaville. And don't forget, Congo didn't have a choice. They had to use sex to explain their dance. That's why you have all those waste thing. You have to understand where that thing is coming from. It's coming from pain. It's coming from torture. Someone has cut their fingers and their legs, and they don't have anything else. They will use their ways to do their dancing, and the world is dancing along with them, not knowing exactly where that dance is coming from. It's coming from torture. The South Africans, they have a tradition in their country, and they do ways they have. But where is Nigeria in all of this? I know we do follow. I know we do a lot of, and we have sung about the follow. And when we follow, we take over the place, just like a era. We take over. We finish the entire job. We're great at that. But who is she?
Who is Nigeria?
Who is she?
Okay. Now because I know that, for you, someone like you and a number of people in your space in music in Nigeria, you feel it's like there's some kind of pain in the way our music has gone and is going. What do you think we should do?
First, we have to ask ourselves the question, who are we? What are we going to put on that table? If you put your own on that table and it is not good enough, don't look at him and don't judge him. Put your own on the table. Stop talking. Can we now fix? Okay, what these two have put on the table, can I add my own? Oh, I don't have now. When am I going to have it? Will you judge me because I don't have? Now, because I'm from the East, don't mean that you from the West are going to fight me. And the one from the North is indifferent. How do we address these different culture, lifestyle, people, a whole incredible race that will sweep the front of their front yard and not sweep yours because you are not of mine? How do we begin? That's the first. My question is plentier than the question you're asking me.
Okay.
Is that English correct? Anybody?
Let me just go to my own question so that. But it's different for performing arts, right? I mean, but other than music, it's different from movies, for storytelling. And
right now, everybody just wants to feel good and make money. Forget it. We're just wasting time. We just want to make money and just leave everything. But why? I don't think it's that way for some of us who really believe in this country called Nigeria. I don't want to give example because I will take your time.
We're listening.
No, I won't listen. I won't even speak. All I want to do is there's a need for, I'm trying to find a good word. If I use resurgence, politician. And I'm not a politician, I'm a musician, a bloody musician for that matter. What's resurgence? Please, can you explain that to me?
You just said it.
But what does it mean?
Just go ahead.
Please explain to me.
Something, a renewal of something.
Of some
movement.
A movement. But the movement is not about no. Go straight to the problem that you see. Find 2, 3, 4 people who's willing. If you're willing, can we protect ourselves from that madness going on over there? But can we do something about it? Who's there? Who's willing? Who's with me? And if they run away, are you willing to pay to get somebody to do it? If you don't want, if you have to secure security. You mentioned security earlier. Mama, security. We secure ourselves, then we now secure the people that are not secure at all. Hygiene. So there's so many nonsense going on in our country, and we're oblivious. Now, how do we... So that is, and you see, when you say, okay, when the person is done singing all those painful music, what else is she going to sing? Who told you the person don't have a way of diversifying? Of course, we always have. We will always diversify. However, there is a need to address what you can see and what you need cleansed. Is that English nice? I think I like that word. Cleansed. We need to clean up, everybody. Nigeria, we need to clean her. We need to love her. We need to desire to clean her.
But you know what's interesting? And I think we have just about a minute, Yinka.
I'm sorry.
Music, movies, comedy. Nigeria is known globally already.
Yes, sir.
So what's missing?
Roots! Back to the foundation. Going back to my roots. Go back to the foundation. Go and look for what is necessary. Get to the root of the problem.
What's the root?
Root to Anani. It's our root. We have to go and look for it. When we look for it, we find it. Nobody argues. We address it. Because Baba Wale has done well. Baba Wale is 90. He will not lift a finger to go and talk to people for you. No. You have to do that job now.
Okay. Quickly, before we go, because we have 30 seconds, what are you working on now?
You have to wait and find out new. I can't tell you now.
Is it
Grab
music or is it...
It is all of the above. Grab your copy when it comes out. Benny.
Be nice. Be nice.
Be nice. Okay, be nice. Right.
Grab your copy when it comes out.
Exactly. Okay, grab your copy when it comes out. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you. Thank you, Nigeria. We love you too much to leave you alone. Oh, we're here with you. Yes, Nigeria. We must clean her up.
Yes, we shall.
Auntie, please sign her out. Sign her out. Sign her out. Sign her out.
Yinka Davies, versatile artist, singer, songwriter, and actor. Thank you very much for coming.
Who told you that she's not going to be acting?
I am acting. What you talking about?
Well, Moses Bako said we should let you...
acting.
He said we should let you know that you won his or her heart.
Oh, who's that?
Moses Bako.
Hello, Mr. Bako.
He's not on phone.
Please. Oh, okay. Hi, Mr. Bako. Oh, my God. I need to see him.
Thank you very much, Yinka Davies, for coming to close Sunrise for us today. We shall bring you a fresh edition.
You are finished.
Next Saturday, I am Alero Edu, wishing you a very happy weekend indeed. See you next month. Am I correct?
Yes, see you next month, the very first day of the new month ahead. Wow, January is over. Anyway, I'm Ayo Makinde. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Bye.